more than happy to leave when you're ready to excuse me.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield back.
Thank you, Ms. Houchin. I don't want to prolong this meeting too much, but I want to associate myself with the comments from Ms. Houchin and from my colleagues who have already spoken. I think fear-mongering is really a tame word to say what has gone on here today from our colleagues across the aisle. It's worse than fear-mongering, and I hope nobody, I'm glad we're not being shown on C-SPAN, because anybody who wants to learn something about civics in this country and the laws in this country sure would get a distorted picture of it. I do want to make one quick sort of affirmation of one thing Ms. Houchin said. When we present facts, we are not lecturing. We are bringing the facts out. And I think that's what we've done. I do want to ask the chairman a question. A lot has been made of the fact that in the Veterans Toxic Exposure Fund, you've mentioned that money for FY26 was not included in this continuing resolution, as evidently it has been in others. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And is there any money for FY26 in any of the other line items here?
Boy, you're asking a big question.
It's not
As
typical.
a rule, yeah, no, it's unusual when we do these things, but again, certainly not unprecedented. No, by and large, this is money for 25.
Okay.
And that's what we should be putting out in this to be appropriate, correct?
In my view, yes, but look, I also put stock in the argument that my friends have made of certain critical services. Usually you like to forward fund so they're not at risk.
Indian Health
We
Services.
do, well, I worked hard to get that.
I know, but I'm saying, but Indian Health Services is
and-
advanced
but
funded. Some other
actually,
veterans
a lot
programs
of-
are advanced funded.
Ms.
I hear you,
Dillon-
but I have to answer
Mr.
it.
Dillon.
And I may be incorrect in this. I think the rest of veterans is forward funded. This is a kind of moving target. It's we're having a hard time getting our hands around exactly how severe this problem is. Did we get a rush of cases that at the beginning, because it's a relatively new benefit? But again, that's an appropriate thing for the Appropriations Department to work for. Look, I voted for the PAC Act, so I certainly want to make sure it's well funded, and we will over the course of our normal deliberations.
And I think, again, it's important to talk about, on March 9th, 2024, President Biden signed into law H.R. 4366, Consolidated Appropriations Act 2024. Then on March 23rd, 2024, another bill signed by the president. And then that got us through December 20th. And then on December 20th, we passed H.R. 10545 to take us through March. Those were not unlawful things that were done. This has been categorized as an unlawful act by the House of Representatives, by our colleagues. So were all of these continuing resolutions unlawful, Mr. Chairman?
No, they're lawful. They're certainly within the authority of Congress. They're not the preferred method. Preferred method, which I think we all would agree on, is 12 bills done in full on time. Our committee produced that product out of the committee before the August break. And we, I'm not saying we did a great job in the House, but we did a better job in the Senate, which didn't pass a single bill, got them across. So it's something clearly we need to work on. And we ought to think about that. And again, my colleague and I agree on this. I wish we'd
Pass
gotten
those
this
bills.
done before President Trump became president. He shouldn't have had to be worried about this. He shouldn't. I mean, we should have been funded through September 30th, but we didn't get that done.
I would like to stay within 5 minutes if I could, and I want to point out that Section 7 let me make sure I'm in the right, I'm in the right place, of Article 1, Section 7. This is where the issue of we have the power of the purse comes up all the time.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people have to be reminded of exactly what this says. It says, all bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills. Every bill which should have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it become law, be presented to the President of the United States. So there's a
No, there isn't.
misrepresentation of the role of the House in some people wanting to say, we have total control over how the money is spent. That is not true.
That
It's
is
just
true.
like every other bill, the bills have to go to the Senate and then be signed by the President. So I
Would
want
you
to
yield,
thank,
Madam
I
Chair?
want to thank the chairman and the ranking member
Would you
for
yield?
being here today, and I yield back my time.
Please read Antonin Scalia on the power of the purse, where it goes. Judge Scalia was not actually a liberal, flaming liberal activist. He opined
We
on
thank
this.
the panel
I
for
thank you
being
very
here,
much. I thank
and you're excused.
Thank you. Oh, God, let's misread the Constitution as well. Oh.